Hi Lucy, happy Thursday. So again, I'll be going through your guided practice and then you'll complete your independent practice. So watch this PowerPoint as many times as you like so that you understand the objective. For your warm-up today, we are going to practice our 4 times table. So let's count together. 0 times 4 equals 0, 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 4 is 20, 6 times 4 is 24, 7 times 4 is 28, 8 times 4 is 32, 9 times 4 is 36, 10 times 4 is 40, 11 times 4 is 44, and 12 times 4 is 48. Now let's clap our way through the times tables. I'll start you off and then you can complete it. 0, 4, 8, 12, and you carry on. Now I'd like to see what you can remember when we counted in our threes yesterday. So could you complete these questions independently? So Lucy, our learn objective today is tenths on a number line. So we've seen it represented differently. We've seen it used in a bar model. We've seen it represented on a number line. We've also seen it represented in a place value grid. And again, today we're going to look at it on a number line. So I'm going to go through your guided practice looking at question A, and then you can complete B and C independently on your work pack. So like we saw yesterday, we had a bar model representing our 0 to 1, so our tenths or our 0.1, those are our equal parts that equal one whole. And if you can remember correctly, we have 10 lots of 0.1 or 10 tenths that equals one whole. So there are 10 equal parts, our divisors here that you can see I'm highlighting now, that equal 0.1 from 0 to 1 on our number line. That we've been asked to fill in the boxes to show the value of that number that it's pointing to. So if here is 0, I'm going to have 0.1. What would be next? Correct, 0.2. So I'll write that in there. Then counting from there, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. I wonder if you know what that last one is, if it is 1 away from the whole 1. Yes, 0.9. I wonder now if you can do B and C independently. Now, the only thing that is different is that we are starting with 7 and the number at the other end of the number line is 8. So I'll start you off, that would be 7.1. So I wonder what that would be and what that number would be represented here. And with C, what is different is that we are starting with 10 and at the other end of the number line it is 11. What will be the numbers in between? Look at my guided practice to help you complete the questions. So again, Lucy, I'll take you through your guided practice and then you'll complete your independent practice. So it's more fluency to practice this learning objective. So you can see here on question A, we have 1.0 and that is the same as 1. We have no tenths but one whole in our ones. And after that we are jumping to 1.1. So we are increasing by 0.1 each time. So here we've gone then from 1.1 to 1.2. What do you think would be next? Yes, it'll be 1.3, then 1.4, and then 1.5 to finish that number line. With B, what's the same is that you are still increasing by 0.1. What is different is that you are counting with the ones being 2. Again, with C, you are still counting in decimals, but what is different is that you are starting with 5 and you are increasing by 0.2. I wonder what will help you, what times table knowledge will help you to complete this number line. Yes, you'll be counting in your 2s. And then with D, you have a missing number here. If you use A to guide you, you know that we have 1 and we increase by 0.1, which will give you 1.1. You have 7.0, a gap, and then 7.2. So I wonder what will be that missing number in between that. Have a go out your independent practice. With this question, Lucy, I will speak through it together, so it'll be guided practice. that we've got a different representation of a number line. We are using a ruler, and we are asked to complete the sentences about points A, B and C. So you can see that point A, which is here, is pointing to number 2. So 2 centimetres on the ruler. Then I'm going to look at point B. That is sitting in between 4 and 5, and I can use the divisors and the lines in between to help me count. But I know what's halfway between 4 and 5. It is 4.5. So I have 4 centimetres and 5 millimetres, which is also equal to 4.5. I have 4 ones and 5 tenths, with the smallest value being the tenths. And so as a decimal, this is 4.5 centimetres. And let's look at point C. And again, we'll have to use the divisors on the ruler, which are the millimetres, to identify what the number will be. I can see that I have 7 centimetres, so 7 ones. And then I'm counting to the point where the arrow is, and I have 3 millimetres. So I'm 7 centimetres and 3 millimetres along the ruler. So as a decimal, what do you think that will be? Yes, I have 7 ones, my decimal point, and 3 tenths. So Lucy, I'm just going to speak through this one together as guided practice again. So we're going to draw arrows to estimate the position of the numbers on the number line. So with A, we have the numbers 0.8, 0.1, 0.5 and 0.3. And we've been given a number line from 0 to 1. Now just have a quick think, what would my divisors be if I'm going to split my number line into equal parts so I can plot those numbers? Yes, I'd make sure that there are 10 equal parts, like I would have in a bar model. Or on my 100 square, I would have 10 equal squares that in a row that would make 1 tenth. 1 tenth. So if I have 0 there, I'll have maybe 0.1 there, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. Now actually I can see that 0.5 is not in the centre, and I know that 0.5 is in the middle of those two numbers. So what technique I would use is first of all draw my halfway line between 0 and 1. I'm going to do that with a red pen. So actually now I know halfway in between those is 0.5, and then I can equally distance my divisors so that I'm more accurate when plotting my numbers. If I know that 0.5 is going to go there, I can now equally distance my divisors between 0 and 0.5, making that more accurate. So I'm going to say that's 0.1, be 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. So now we can plot as well 0.3. I'll put there. We know that's 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8 and 0.9. So now I can finally plot my last number, which is 0.8. I wonder if you could have a look at B and think about where you would plot those numbers. The only difference is that at one side of my number line I have 3, and at the other end I have 5, so I've increased by 2. So I wonder what number would go in the centre of my number line. What is in the middle of 3 and 5? I'm sure you've got it. It is 4. So then think about where I would plot these numbers, like I have shown you with A.